Last week, Chicago was colder than Siberia, Iceland, and Alaska, and I was craving a hot meal. I made myself this rosemary roasted vegetable soup, and the price per serving will surprise you. I rough chopped some veggies into thick pieces for roasting. Bell peppers into quarters, onions and squash into halves, and just the tops off the garlic. I placed the veggies in a glass roasting tray and drizzled with olive oil. Once covered, I arranged them cut side down and threw them in the oven at 400 degrees for around 45 minutes. When they developed a little bit of color and were fork tender, they were ready. I chopped the veggies into slightly smaller pieces and combined them in a large pot. I dumped in 2 cans of fire roasted tomatoes and got to blending. Once the vegetables were well processed, I added a quart of vegetable stock and blended again for another 2 minutes or so. I transferred the pot onto the heat and turned the burner on high to get it up to a boil. A quick taste and it was time to add the seasonings. I threw in about a tablespoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, salt, oregano, and thyme. I finished with a few bay leaves and, the star of the show, a whole sprig of rosemary. Once it came up to a boil, I added a can of coconut cream, turned the heat down to low, and let it simmer for another 15 minutes. While the soup was cooking, I prepped a few pieces of salmon to use as this meal's protein. I patted them dry, made a quick rub, oiled and seasoned both sides of the fillets, and heated up a pan to medium-high heat. I seared each piece for 3 to 4 minutes per side and killed the heat when they were done. By then, the soup was ready and it was time to eat. I removed the rosemary and began to plate. I spooned a healthy portion of soup into a bowl and topped with sun-dried tomatoes, a few sprigs of rosemary, and a drizzle of coconut cream. I toasted a ciabatta roll, grabbed one of the salmon fillets, and it was time to dig in. I knew this was going to be good, but I didn't expect it to be this good. Hot soup hits hard when it feels like minus 15 outside. All in all, I got about 8 servings for around $22 and enjoyed it reheated multiple times throughout the week. The price per serving came out to $2.75 for the soup, which I thought was well worth it for something so delicious.